Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are excited to welcome Jenna Clarke to the show, the owner of Malama Momma from Lexington, Kentucky. She joins us as an experienced pediatric sleep consultant, birth and postpartum doula, advanced newborn care specialist, and holistic health and wellness educator, and so much more. Welcome to the show today. How are you, Jenna?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Well, excited to have you here. Cannot wait to talk to you. First and foremost, tell us the website and all forms of contact that we can reach you at.
Yeah, the best way to get in touch with me and book a free call is malamamama.com. Malama, Mama, Momma.com. And all of my booking calls are there, able to be booked online.
Yay. Well, I know you offer and many services to really help parents and to help them care for their child and teach them about parenthood in a sense. And, let me ask you about your own self first, what brought you here, of course, and a little bit of your background, because I know originally you wanted to be a doctor, right? When you grew up, you were an ophthalmologist, you mentioned, right? When you were little.
Yep, when I was growing up, I wanted to be an ophthalmologist because my optometrist was boring. So I kind of went all through high school wanting to do that, and then got to college and discovered a whole new world of global health, population health, public health, and sort of changed gears when I was at college for my undergrad degree.
And where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from the North Shore of Oahu in Hawaii. So I grew up there. And then after high school, I moved to Seattle to go to the University of Washington for my
Or,
undergrad.
and now, how did you get your start in this career?
Yeah, good question. I sort of had, maintained my first career in the health sector in New Zealand, actually, where my husband's from. And then we had our two daughters. They were both born there in Auckland, New Zealand. And then we moved back home to Oahu when our second born was a baby, when she was about four months old. And some of my friends started having children at that time. And I kind of realized a bunch of differences between my experience in New Zealand and their experience on Oahu. And so I decided, I kind of was like, all right, I'm going to do a whole different career shift. I'm not going to go back to work full time with these tiny littles. Motherhood did change me in that way. I had a desire to find something where I could work from home, but still, contribute. I always never saw myself not working. And so I found a birth and postpartum doula training on Oahu and attended it. And gosh, that was 10 years ago. And have kind of just been doing this career for the last decade and have love it and love supporting families.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much. It's exciting to have you here and to talk more about this work as a mom. So, how many do you have?
We have two.
And
Yeah.
how old, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah. The oldest is 13 and the youngest is 10, two girls.
And who's the little baby on the front page of your website?
Oh, that's a model.
It's a model baby.
Yeah,
How
that's a
cute.
model baby that I borrowed for a branding shoot. Super cute little guy.
Oh, beautiful, but adorable. And we're going to dive into, the work you're doing, and all the services that you provide. So let's get started. I know you wanted to talk a little bit about pediatric sleep consulting for newborns, infants, toddlers, and big kids, right?
Yeah. Yes, yes. That's sleep is everything. So important and something I love supporting families with.
So what is the role of a sleep consultant? Could you give us some details about what it
Yeah.
means and how it works?
Yeah, great question. So I work with ages 0 to 5 years old. So
Okay.
any parents kind of even expecting, pregnant or expecting their littles all the way up to, getting ready to go off to school. Not every family needs a sleep consultant. Not every kiddo has sleep challenges. I do think that we have pregnancy and everybody focuses on the birth, and then sort of afterward it's like parents sort of get left. It's like, hey, take your kid home, good luck,
Yeah.
there you go. And there's so many different approaches to how you can approach sleep and how you can approach parenting, and so it can be kind of hard to wade through, and there's so much information out there online. And so my role as a pediatric sleep consultant is to kind of take some of that overwhelm away from parents. It's sort of someone, I like to say I'm the walking, talking Google or encyclopedia for families. I've read all of the books, I've done the courses, I've read the articles. When you're a tired, exhausted, overwhelmed parent, the last thing you want someone to tell you to do is, oh, here's a book I read. This will help you. You don't have time to read a book. You're tired, you're
So
exhausted
true.
and stressed, and everything is just, ah. So what I do is I come alongside tired parents or parents that aren't tired yet because they're still pregnant or expecting their baby via surrogacy or adoption, whatever the situation is, and walk alongside you to craft a plan for addressing sleep. With newborns, we do really responsive care. We call that sleep conditioning or sleep shaping. So we're really sort of setting up foundational sleep hygiene, like really solid sleep hygiene from day one to kind of follow that baby all the way through, through later infancy into toddlerhood and preschool. For older kiddos that maybe have established some sleep challenges and their parents are like, what do I do? I come alongside and I listen and I decide, I talk to parents about what the different options are, what the range of sleep approaches
Yeah.
are, because there's no one size fits all, right? It's every kiddo is different, every household has different philosophies and ideals about how they'd like to parent. And so I come alongside parents and talk about what the options are, give a realistic synopsis of what it takes to kind of meet
Yep.
you and meet your kiddo at, based on your capacity and what your ideals are, and then craft a sleep plan and walk alongside as parents implement or caregivers implement it for a couple of weeks. And sometimes I'm offering extended. And all of that is virtual. I get asked this a lot, do you do this in home? Do you do this virtually? So most of my clients are virtual all across the country, all across the United States. I've had some clients in Canada and the UK and Australia, New Zealand. So that support is virtual, and I utilize an app where we track sleep, we track naps and feeding and things like that, and challenges, and we talk in an app called Rested that my clients get complimentary access to. And I also do in-home support as well. Like I'm currently, in California doing in-home support as well. And so it can look like, both. Some families are just so overwhelmed and they just need in-home support to kind of get them through. And most of the time, my clients are virtual though.
Awesome. Good to know. Thank you for that. And let me ask, the work that you're doing, clearly you're passionate about it. Could you just share a little bit of the background on how you got licensed to, do all this work?
Yeah, super great question. Again, I came out of the health sector and a very, very licensed, very clinical field, and I was a non-clinical health administrator. The sleep and the doula world are not regulated, so that's something to be aware of as you're looking for a sleep consultant. Kind of making sure that it is anyone can call themselves a sleep consultant. I take training seriously and certifications and professional association membership. So I'm a continuous learner. When I started out with birth and postpartum doula training, and then very quickly realized, oh, I'm advising all of my clients on sleep support because I kind of did that. I was that go-to friend for when my firstborn was born. And so I'd always kind of been giving advice, informally to friends and family around infant and pediatric sleep. So as I started working with parents in this childbearing, parenthood transition space, I started to add more trainings in, and certifications in, because I think that that's really important. It makes me a more holistic, well-rounded practitioner. I maintain membership in my professional associations. I'm part of the Newborn Care Specialists Association. I'm actually the only pediatric sleep consultant in the state of Kentucky that belongs to two of the main global professional associations for sleep consultants, is the Association for Professional Sleep Consultants and the International Association of Child Sleep Consultants. So I'm the only consultant in the state of Kentucky that is a member of both of those associations. And that's just important to me for networking, for community, for continuing education.
Beautiful. And also at this time, I would love for you to just remind everyone of the website, best form of contact, even a social media pages, phone number.
Yeah. Website, malamamama.com. I'm only on Instagram and Facebook. I'm not on TikTok yet. So it's at Malama Mama on Instagram, and Facebook is Malama Mama Doula.
Love. And how did you come up with the name?
Yeah, I'm from the North Shore of Oahu in Hawaii. And that's where I started this business when we had that family life transition out of my professional career. And I was wanting to come up with something that would encapsulate and really resonate with the vision that I wanted to support families
Yeah.
in this time and in this transition to parenthood. And Malama is the Hawaiian word that means to care for and to protect. And so that is my hope and has been my mission over the last 10 years doing this work is really caring for and protecting parents through that childbearing process and into parenthood and so that they're thriving.
Beautiful. All right. Well, let's continue talking more about your services because there's a lot that you do. Could you share a little more details about the roles of a birth and postpartum doula are and how that works?
Yeah. A birth and postpartum doula, we're basically a support person. I'm not your birth partner when I'm in that role. Your partner is your birth partner. I am a birth coach walking alongside both of you to make sure that you have a safe and satisfying birth experience.
Mm-hmm.
I attend, a handful of births in Lexington. I don't tend to do that as much anymore. I focus more on sleep and newborn care just because being on call is hard and I travel for work to clients across the country. So being on call can be a little tricky. And for in the postpartum doula space, that's really just, again, making sure that that transition, that's really looking at birthing person, mom and dad, partner, whatever that looks like in your family structure, making sure that you guys have all of the resources that you need, that you feel supported, that you have referrals to the community for other chiropractors, lactation consultants, really good food, nutritious, holistic food that's going to nourish your body and really replenish those nutrients when you have your baby and you bring them home. So really just looking at the whole picture and crafting a plan. And then again, sometimes I'm in the home supporting in that journey as well, like overnights or daytime to kind of coach parents alongside how to do diapering, how to do swaddling and burping and, milk and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I love it. I love it. How many clients could you take on at a time? I mean,
Yeah, I know. Well, for sleep a lot more because it's virtual. In home, obviously, just yeah, one at a time. But for birth, I usually didn't do more than four a month or so. But
oh my
yeah.
goodness. And what do you love most about the work that you're doing?
The thing that brings me the most joy is when parents will text me, whether in the app or just, to my cell phone directly and just say, "Oh my gosh, like I never knew that this was possible. Oh, life has changed. Like, thank you so much." And I just wait for those text messages to
Yeah.
come. I just got one yesterday from an email from a client that I'm supporting, and she just said, "We both slept beautifully last night." And it was really, really just such a special thing for me to kind of experience. And that's just what I want. I want my clients to feel, I think that parenthood can be such a lonely journey for a lot of people. And again, there's lots of shame and guilt and mom shaming and things like that out there if you spend time on social media. And so I love just being that support person and helping moms and dads to find that confidence and that calm in their parenthood journey and see results. That's really
Well, who helped you? Did anyone help you? How did you figure it
yeah,
out? What about your
yeah.
situation?
Great question. Yeah, we kind of did thrive in that transition. I'm a big reader, so I did read a lot of books. I attended all the classes. There's a woman in New Zealand because that's where my children were born. She was called the Baby Whisperer. I rented her back then. It was renting the DVD downloads online. I went to her classes. I, consumed all of the information and really kind of walked myself through that transition. And in New Zealand, we have midwives that come to your house. You have support people. If you need support, it's a country that has a much better maternal health care system set up. And so I was able to thrive a lot more in that transition, I think, because of it. And so that's what kind of attracted me to this career was seeing the difference that my friends were having when I came back to the America and saw, gosh, this is not the same. You do not have access to the same support. And so that's kind of how I launched into this second career of mine.
Oh my goodness, exciting. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, could you share a client story or two of how you've helped them as well? It's always good to hear these positive feedbacks and
Yeah,
testimonials.
yeah. One that I'm super proud of recently was I had a referral from a different consultant in New Jersey. She was working with a client that just didn't want to do things the traditional way. There's definitely a mainstream sort of sleep approach, and that's super great. I work with all of the approaches to sleep, but this parent really wanted to find a solution that wasn't quite fit. She wasn't fitting in the sort of mainstream box. And so after talking to her, and I kind of reached out to a couple of local consultants, and she sort of circled back to me and said, I want to work with you. That's the message I got yesterday. We sort of made, I did my consultation, created the plan, got her all set up. And we were organizing a couple of the furniture things, and she texted and said, wow, we slept really well. And she just said, thank you so much that you were able to offer solutions that I wanted. I didn't have to fit into the sleep box that other people were wanting to put in, which I understand. That's how a lot of us practice, but it was just really nice. And I wasn't always this way. If you'd asked me even 5 years ago, I probably would have only worked, I definitely only worked in a certain scope of sleep approaches. And then that's just part
Mm-hmm.
of growing, right? And gaining experience and wisdom and knowledge. So as I've evolved as a practitioner, I'm able to now help a wider range of parents because of that. So that was really cool.
Oh my goodness.
That message.
Have you ever had some, challenges with your clients? Have you overcome every single one? What was the hardest thing that was,
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. Like, what's your success rate? I'm like, well, it really it's hard to gauge because everybody gets support. Everyone gets offerings, but it's really hard sometimes doing virtual work. It's really a DIY option, right? Parents, they have a plan, and then parents actually have to do it. And sometimes it can just be hard. Like sleep support is really challenging. And sometimes if I don't think I think it's really just it's not success, it's just adjusting expectations with clients. So that's something that I'm doing, is allowing clients to also not adhere to maybe like other people's guidelines of what sleep should look like for their kiddo, but really just adjusting for them and helping them to be okay with like the
yeah.
challenges that come up. But also, here's some options that will work. But sometimes it involves a little bit of more crying, and parents aren't comfortable with that. So it's going to look a little bit differently. So it's my job to help to facilitate that, and to give you the real of what it takes to kind of achieve your goals based on what your capacity is. So I've definitely had some clients where it takes longer, but I think overall they're okay with that because those are the methods that they're comfortable with. So,
Beautiful.
yeah.
All right. Well, we still have 8 minutes left in your show, Jenna Clarke. What else do you think is important to talk about? My goodness, I was reading more about you as a surrogate mom, and could you talk a little bit about that journey as well and
Yeah,
how?
yeah. I'm also a two-time surrogate mother, so that was an incredible experience to two baby girls. Our family was just so blessed to be a part of these other two families' journeys. I just think surrogacy can be such a beautiful thing. And again, just kind of like an extension. People always ask, how can you do this? And I'm like, it's kind of an extension of the work I do in newborn care, in people's homes, caring through just really protecting that journey. In this case, I actually helped people become parents, or to grow their family. And so sort of the same principles, it was really neat to be a part of that. And that's something that I'm exploring. I've been doing surrogacy consulting for the last couple of years, just talking through parents that are needing to grow their family via surrogacy, and to potential surrogate mothers, women that are interested in it and that have questions, because it can be a scary thing, to explore. And it's a very unknown area. A lot of people, have so many preconceived notions about it. So that's been cool to educate people on what it can look like.
And can I ask, as a surrogate, I think every state's probably different at this point, right? But you're based where primarily?
I'm based in Kentucky. Yep,
Got it.
it's a surrogate friendly state. And
I was
but my
just
first
going to
time,
ask, could you tell me? I'm
yeah, and then
curious.
my first time it was in Hawaii, which is also surrogacy friendly. So there's definitely different states, like in New York, for example, or I think, are you based in New York?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
so
on Long
yeah,
Island.
so New York, for example, just surrogacy only just became legal in 2019, I believe, so very recently. And now, it's rolling it out, and they actually are the only state that actually requires agencies to be licensed with the state. So it's really interesting to see the evolution and progression of these laws across the country, because it can be, yeah, kind of the Wild West a little
See,
bit because it's unlegislated.
I didn't even know that it was legal in New York still.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
already, I should say,
now, yeah,
because I
yeah.
had a couple a few years ago, my friend had to go to So Georgia or North Carolina, I
Mhm.
think, and they used a surrogate down there. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's very recent. Yeah, very
Oh
recent.
my goodness, that's wonderful. That is a
Yeah,
great thing. It
yeah,
really, really is.
I agree.
Wow. Let me ask, and that's amazing of you for your family to do such a thing, to help someone. My goodness. Could I ask you a little bit on the holistic side? I know you also blog a little. I was reading some things about essential oils you like using. Could you share a little bit about
Yeah,
that?
yeah, definitely. And that was one of the things that sort of pulled me into this world. I in that transition, it was like I became a birth and postpartum doula in the same year, sort of discovered this whole holistic world. And my product partner, the company that I partner with is doTERRA. It's a essential oil company and it has other holistic, like non-toxic products and things like that. And that's really important to our family. When my children were little, it was really important to me to be discerning and very selective about what I was putting on my body, around my, our body and on my children. And so that was sort of just a really nice marriage between the two of as I'm working with parents, they're often, told, oh, you can't take XYZ medication or that's dangerous for children. And so parents come to me and they're like, well, what can I use? And so it was really nice to be able to offer solutions to them, especially in the birth experience for just making the room nice, for natural birthing, for medicated birthing. It really just helps to shape this amazing experience. I've had lots of my clients say it was like a spa in there, and then for sleep, aromatherapy, there's countless articles on, the efficacy of aromatherapy with sleep and with stress and just kind of bringing the levels of the household down, kind of helping with calm and managing, stress and anxiety. And so utilizing these tools to help promote sleep for the brain, because sleep is a brain issue, right? Like we can't force anybody to sleep, but what we can do is we can create an optimal environment with, the noise and the lighting and the scheduling a little bit and the tools, like using lavender and other calming tools like that, magnesium, using things like that that can help to create a calm response in the brain and help the brain to kind of switch off and tick off into sleep. So I love educating families on what else is out there because I think a lot of families are searching, for other options, especially when they're in their childbearing years. And so it was a really nice partnership to be able to do that as well.
Beautiful. And, let me ask, any tips or tricks you want to leave for us today? As far as taking care of newborns with their sleep or just parents in general, is there anything that you want to add for today?
Yeah, I would say just you do you. I mean, if
Okay.
it's okay to ask for help, the same reason you do you and don't, sort of succumb to the guilts and the shaming and stuff on social media. You find your tribe and find your people and who resonates with you. Your people are out there. Like this client I was telling you about, I was able to connect her with educators in the space she hadn't heard of that were her people. And I think, so find your people. It's okay to ask for help. I love supporting families. And so I'm a free 15-minute phone call away. I'm not the right fit for every family, but I'm the right fit for a lot of families. And I've helped over 400 families, across the United States and a couple countries abroad. And I'm very proud of that. I have 10 years of experience and I'm, very genuine, very transparent and honest about what my scope of practice is and what my abilities are. And it's my job to kind of help you find solutions that you're comfortable with. Just like you would hire a personal trainer for, goals in the gym or maybe a coach to help bring your business to the next level. It's also perfectly fine to hire a coach, or a support person to guide you through sleep challenges and, things like that. It's perfectly normal in today's society, and I would love to support your family.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And if someone has any questions, can we reach out? Is there like do you offer like a discovery call?
Yep, absolutely. Discovery calls on malamamama.com. All of my different services are there. Pediatric sleep is so easy to book a call, and they're all complimentary. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much. Tell us again the website, phone number, social media
Yeah.
pages. Thank you.
Yeah. Social media, Instagram and Facebook. So at Malama Mama, and website is malamamama.com. Yeah, and my phone number is on my website if it's an emergency and you really need to reach me. But yeah.
Thank you so much. Pleasure having you here and excited to talk to you. Thank you for doing what you do and pleasure having you here.
Thanks, Jill.
Thank you. So have a fantastic week. Get some sleep. I hear newborn sleep, and it reminds me of the old days when my kids were little, right? Oh, how hard it was to get through. But I love what I say to everyone as a parent. Mine are 7 and 9 now, but it's a country song by Darius Rucker. It won't be like this for long. Do you agree? It's
This
true.
too shall pass. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you again. Have a great day.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.